My sister let her son destroy my daughter's first car as a lesson. 5 minutes later, his $85,000 Mercedes was scrap metal. I never thought I'd be writing this post. I'm a 42-year-old father of two, and I've always tried to be the reasonable one in my family, the peacekeeper, the one who smooths things over at Thanksgiving when political discussions get heated. But what happened 3 weeks ago has fundamentally changed my relationship with my sister, and honestly, I don't think there's any coming back from it. Let me start from the beginning, because context matters here. And I want you all to understand exactly why I did what I did. Background: the golden child and the scapegoat, my sister, Jennifer, 45. And I grew up in a pretty typical middle-class household in suburban Ohio. Our parents weren't wealthy, but they worked hard and provided for us. Dad was a factory supervisor. Mom worked part-time at a dental office. They did their best with what they had, and I don't fault them for the financial constraints we lived under. But what I do fault them for is the blatant favoritism that defined our entire childhood. The problem was, from the moment Jennifer was born, she could do no wrong in our parents' eyes. I was 3 when she came along. And according to family stories I've heard repeated at every single gathering for 4 decades, I went from being the center of attention to basically being invisible overnight. Mom loves to tell the story of how I tried to return baby Jennifer to the hospital, how I asked if we could exchange her for a puppy instead, how jealous I was of this perfect little angel. What Mom conveniently forgets to mention is how I was punished for every normal 3-year-old reaction to a new sibling, while Jennifer was praised for every basic milestone. Let me give you some specific examples, because I think they matter. When I was 7 and Jennifer was 4, she took my baseball card collection, the one I'd been building for years with my allowance and birthday money, and ripped up every single card. When I cried about it, Dad told me I was too old to cry over pieces of paper, and that I needed to set a better example for my little sister. Jennifer faced 0 consequences. The cards, including a near-mint Mickey Mantle rookie card worth several $100s even then, were just gone. When I was 10, I saved up for months to buy a remote control car, the kind I'd been dreaming about, the one all the kids at school had. The day I brought it home, Jennifer grabbed it and smashed it against the driveway repeatedly until it broke into pieces. She was 7, old enough to know better. My parents' response: she just wanted to play with you. You should share your things with your sister. We'll buy you another one. They never did, by the way. By another one, I mean, when I was 12 and Jennifer was 9, she told our parents I'd pushed her down the stairs. I hadn't. She'd tripped on her own shoelaces, which I'd been warning her about all morning. But she blamed me, and our parents believed her without question. I was grounded for a month. No TV, no going out with friends, no allowance. Meanwhile, Jennifer got extra attention and sympathy, and a new toy to help her feel better. When I confronted her weeks later about the lie, she just shrugged and said, "You should have tied my shoes for me, like I asked." When I was 16 and studying for my SAT, Jennifer, 13 at the time, would deliberately make noise outside my room, blast her music, interrupt me constantly. When I complained, Dad said, "The world doesn't revolve around you, Mike. Your sister has a right to exist in this house too." When Jennifer's grades started slipping a few years later, the entire household had to observe quiet hours so she could study. I was in college by then, but during breaks, I had to follow rules that had never applied when it was my education on the line. Throughout our childhood, the pattern was clear. Jennifer's feelings, needs, and wants always came first. My needs were demands. Her mistakes were accidents. My accidents were irresponsibility. She was spirited and confident. I was difficult and moody. Child psychologists have a term for this: the golden child and the scapegoat. Jennifer was the golden child who could do no wrong. I was the scapegoat who could do no right. This dynamic didn't end with childhood. It evolved, grew more sophisticated, but never disappeared. When Jennifer graduated high school with a 2.8 GPA, my parents threw her a massive party and praised her for doing her best and being well-rounded. When I graduated with a 3.9 and a full scholarship to Penn State, they took me to dinner and told me not to get a big head about it. When Jennifer dropped out of college after 3 semesters, she wasn't feeling inspired. My parents supported her decision and funded her apartment for 2 years, while she found herself when I asked them to help me with rent during a summer when I couldn't find work. They told me I needed to learn financial responsibility. When Jennifer met Craig at a party when she was 25, it was like all her Christmases had come at once. Here was this wealthy, successful man who was willing to take care of her, fund her lifestyle, and ask nothing of her except that she'd be herself. They got married within 8 months. My parents acted like Jennifer had won the lottery, like her beauty and charm had earned her this prize. Never mind that she'd never held a job for more than 6 months, had no degree, no real skills, no ambition beyond marrying well. When I married Sarah 3 years later, my parents complained about the cost of traveling to Pennsylvania for the wedding. Sarah's family paid for most of the wedding. We didn't have the money for something elaborate, and my parents contributed $500 total. Jennifer's wedding, by contrast, had been a $75,000 affair that my parents went into debt to help fund. Jennifer's wedding was special. Mom explained when I asked about the disparity. It was important to make a good impression on Craig's family. The message was clear. Jennifer's happiness mattered. Mine was expected. This pattern continued into adulthood. Jennifer married a successful hedge fund manager named Craig when she was 26. And they've lived a very comfortable life in Connecticut ever since. They have one son, Brandon, who just turned 19. I married my wife Sarah when I was 28. After dating her for 4 years, Sarah was and is everything I could have hoped for. Kind, intelligent, driven, compassionate. She came from a middle-class family like mine, but one where all the children were treated equally. Meeting her family was like visiting an alternate dimension where fairness actually existed. We have 2 kids, Emma 17 and Jake 14. I worked as a civil engineer. I've worked for the same firm for 14 years now, steadily advancing, providing a stable life for my family. Sarah's a high school English teacher, a job she's passionate about despite the low pay and long hours. We live a comfortable but modest life in Pennsylvania, in a 3-bedroom house we bought 10 years ago. Our life isn't glamorous. We budget carefully, plan our vacations months in advance, shop sales, and drive practical cars. But it's honest, it's stable, and our kids are growing up in a home where their worth isn't determined by how little they cost us, or how much they boost our status. The disparity between our lifestyles has always been a source of tension, though mostly once. Jennifer has never worked a day since marrying Craig. Not because she couldn't, but because she didn't need to. And Craig seemed to prefer having her available for social events, charity galas, and maintaining their image. Their house in Connecticut is something out of a magazine. 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a pool, a 3-car garage. It's professionally decorated, professionally landscaped, professionally maintained. Jennifer has a personal trainer, a regular massage therapist, and gets her hair done every 3 weeks at a salon, where a cut and color costs more than our monthly grocery budget. Compare that to our house. A nice but modest 3-bedroom ranch in a good school district. Sarah and I share 1 bathroom with the kids. Our yard is maintained by me on weekends. Our decorating style is like meets hand-me-downs from relatives. Sarah cuts the kids' hair in the kitchen. I go to great clips. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm proud of what we've built. We don't have debt beyond our mortgage. Our kids are happy. We take nice vacations. Nothing extravagant, but meaningful. State parks, road trips, camping. We're teaching our kids the value of money, the satisfaction of working for what you want, the importance of living within your means. But Jennifer has always looked down on us for it. At family gatherings, she makes little comments. "Oh, you're still in that house. We thought you'd have upgraded by now. Is that from Target? How practical. You let the kids share a bathroom. Isn't that difficult? You drove 8 hours instead of flying. Wow, that's dedicated." She posts Instagram photos of Brandon's various sports cars he's had since turning 16. Their family vacations to Europe and the Caribbean. Their home renovations, always with captions about being #blessed and #grateful. She tags me in posts comparing their life to ours, like photos of their pool with captions like "Family Swim Day." Mike Morrison, when are you putting one in? She's bought Emma and Jake gifts over the years, always expensive, always slightly inappropriate. A $300 gaming console for Jake when he was 8, making every other gift look cheap by comparison. Designer clothes for Emma that were way too mature for her age. A drone for Jake that cost more than Sarah and I spent on Christmas combined that year. She does it to make a point, to highlight the difference, to remind. Apparently, Jennifer is convinced I did it. She's been telling everyone in the family, posting vague things on Facebook about betrayal and family loyalty and criminals hiding in plain sight. My mother called crying last week, begging me to just admit it so the family can move on. Move on to what? I asked. To pretending Brandon didn't destroy Emma's car? To pretending Jennifer's parenting hasn't created a monster? To me apologizing for standing up for my daughter? To healing, my mother said. "Mom, there's no healing with Jennifer until she acknowledges reality. Brandon committed a crime. He destroyed property that Emma worked 2 years to afford. He did it deliberately, cruelly, and without remorse. Jennifer defended him. She minimized it. She threw money at us like that fixed the emotional damage. And now you want me to apologize. She didn't have an answer for that. My father, to his credit, has been quieter. He called once, and we had a long conversation. He admitted that he knows Jennifer has babied Brandon over the years, and that Brandon has some growing up to do. Dad, he's 19 years old, I said. He's not going to grow up. He's going to keep being exactly what Jennifer raised him to be. Someone who believes consequences don't apply to him. So what was your answer? My father asked quietly. To become someone who believes laws don't apply to you. That one stung. I'll admit. I became someone who believes my daughter's well-being is more important than staying in Jennifer's good graces. I replied. Even if it means going to jail. Even if it means going to jail. We haven't spoken since. Emma's progress, the good news in all of this is Emma. She's doing so much better. She's been driving her new car daily and has even started decorating it. A new air freshener. Some seat covers. A small stuffed animal hanging from the rearview mirror. It's starting to feel like hers, not just a replacement. More importantly, she's been talking to her therapist about boundaries and the therapist told Sarah that Emma has been processing the idea that not fighting back is the same as accepting mistreatment, which apparently was a big breakthrough for her. Emma told me last week that watching how I handled the situation with Jennifer cutting contact, refusing to back down, taught her that it's okay to remove toxic people from your life, even if they're family. I used to think family meant putting up with anything, she said. But you showed me that real family is the people who protect you, not the people who hurt you and expect you to accept it. If I end up going to jail for this, at least I gave her that lesson. Brandon's latest, according to my mother, who apparently still talks to Jennifer despite everything. Brandon has a new Mercedes and has already received a speeding ticket in it. He's also posted on social media about the psycho who destroyed his last car and how he doesn't let haters get him down. Zero introspection, zero growth, zero accountability, which, again, is exactly what I expected. Craig's involvement, interestingly. Craig, Jennifer's husband, reached out to me directly last week, through LinkedIn of all places. His message was brief. We need to talk. Not about the car. About Brandon. I called him curious. Craig apparently has been growing increasingly frustrated with Brandon's behavior and Jennifer's enabling. He's the one who's been paying for all the car insurance increases, the new vehicles, the legal fees from Brandon's various screw-ups. I'm tired of it, he told me. I'm tired of writing checks to fix problems that Jennifer refuses to acknowledge exist. I'm tired of watching my son become someone I don't like very much. So stop, I said. It's not that simple. Jennifer will divorce me if I cut Brandon off. So let her. There was a long silence. I'm not asking you to admit anything about the Mercedes, Craig said carefully. But if someone did do that, I want you to know that person might have done Brandon a favor. It's the first time in his life he's experienced a consequence that I couldn't immediately fix with money. He was genuinely upset for days. Did it change anything? I asked. No, Craig admitted. Jennifer bought him a new car too fast. But for those few days, he was almost human, almost humble. What do you want from me, Craig? I want to know how you did it, he said. How you cut Jennifer off how you chose your daughter over family peace. How you stopped caring what everyone thought. It wasn't easy, I told him, but it was simple. Every time I wondered if I was doing the right thing, I looked at Emma's face. And then, I knew. I wish I had done that years ago, he said quietly. Before Brandon became this, three talked for over an hour. Craig apologized for Jennifer's behavior, for Brandon's behavior, for the whole situation. He offered to pay for a better car for Emma, to cover any legal fees I might incur, to do anything to make this right. I told him the only thing that would make it right is if Brandon faced real consequences and Jennifer acknowledged reality. And since neither of those things were going to happen, we were done. I understand, he said. For what it's worth, Emma is lucky to have you as a father, and Brandon is unlucky to have Jennifer as a mother. It was the most honest conversation I've ever had with Craig. Where we go from here, Sarah and I have made our position clear. We're done with Jennifer and Brandon. Not angry, not dramatic, just done. We're not going to family gatherings. We're not doing holidays together. We're not doing the polite small talk at events. We're simply removing them from our lives. My parents are struggling with this, but they're starting to accept it. My mother asked last week if Emma and Jake could still have a relationship with them separately. And I said of course, as long as Jennifer isn't around. Some of my extended family thinks I'm being too harsh. Others have privately messaged me saying they've been waiting for someone to stand up to Jennifer for years, and they're glad it finally happened. The family is essentially split now. Team Jennifer versus Team Emma, which is sad, but also clarifying. Sarah's family, meanwhile, has been completely supportive. Her parents even sent Emma a card with $500 in it for car maintenance and emergencies. Emma cried when she opened it. As for me, I'm at peace with my choice. I sleep fine at night. I look my daughter in the eye without shame. I've shown my children that their father will protect them, even when it costs him something. If that makes me a criminal, so be it. If that makes me a bad brother, so be it. If that makes me a bad son, so be it. But it makes me a good father, and that's the only role that truly matters. 3 weeks after original post, I wasn't going to update again. But something happened this week that I think deserves to be shared, both as closure for everyone who's been following along, and as a cautionary tale. Jennifer showed up at our house Wednesday afternoon. I got a call from Sarah. She was whispering, voice shaking. "Jennifer's here. She's in our driveway. She won't leave." I was at work, 20 minutes away. "Call the police," I said. I did. "They're on their way." "But Mike," she's screaming. "The neighbors are coming outside." I got in my car and broke every speed limit getting home. When I arrived, there were 2 police cars in front of our house, neighbors standing on porches, and Jennifer in our driveway yelling at Sarah, who was standing in the doorway looking terrified. "All your fault." Jennifer was screaming. "Everything was fine until you poisoned Mike against me." Emma and Jake were visible behind Sarah, both looking scared. That image my kids frightened in their own home because of my sister made me see red. I parked and walked up to the scene. The police officers were trying to talk Jennifer down, but she was hysterical. "Ma'am, you need to calm down and leave the property," one officer was saying. "Not until they admit what they did." She saw me approaching and turned her fury on me. You destroyed my son's car. You destroyed my family. All because of your pathetic, ungrateful daughter and her piece of junk." "Stop talking," I said quietly. "Don't you dare tell me to stop. You're a criminal. You're a liar. You've turned our parents against me. You've ruined everything." The officer stepped between us. "Sir, I'm going to need you to step back." "That's my property," I said calmly. "That's my wife and children. I want her removed." "We're working on it," the officer assured me. "Press charges," Sarah said from the doorway. "Mike, press charges." Jennifer laughed, a high, unhinged sound. "Press charges for what?" "Standing in your driveway while you destroyed an $85,000 vehicle." "Prove it," I said. That's when she lunged at me. The officers grabbed her immediately, but not before she'd gotten her nails across my cheek, drawing blood. "You're under arrest for assault," one officer said, pulling her arms behind her back. "Get off me. He's the criminal. Arrest him." They cuffed her and started walking her toward the patrol car. She was still screaming, still fighting. "This isn't over, Mike. I'll prove what you did. I'll make sure everyone knows." They put her in the car and closed the door, muffling her voice. The officer who'd stayed behind took my statement, and he photographed the scratches on my face. He gave us a case number and explained that Jennifer would be held until her arraignment, probably sometime the next day. "Do you want to press charges?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Absolutely yes," Sarah added. After they left, we went inside. Emma and Jake were sitting on the couch, holding hands. "Is Aunt Jennifer going to come back?" Jake asked quietly. "No," I said firmly. "She is not welcome here, ever again." Sometimes protecting your child means becoming the villain in someone else's story. Peace is expensive when it requires you to accept disrespect. What would you have done in my place? Kept the family peace, or stood up for your child, no matter the cost? If this story hits you in the heart, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes family should never mean accepting abuse.